Don't tell me the lens cap was on.
Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I am in my cave with my new best friend K-2SO and his maker Darren Moser. Darren, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Good to see you, Adam.
Darren is a compadre of mine from the Replica Props Forum, among I think probably 5 or 6 other friend groups that we're
in similar circles for sure.
Yeah, dude, we talked about this, but I had no idea what it was going to be like to have an actual 7-foot K-2SO standing in front of me. This is amazing.
Thank you. Now, he stands 7'2", so he's full scale. This is the size he would be. And again, when you're picking a droid to build, why not pick a completely CG character that didn't exist in real life and doesn't have to obey the laws of physics? It just gives you more challenges to build.
So there was not, just for clarity to the audience, there was not a physical, there might have been a stand-in model of K-2SO for lighting reference, right, but there was not a K-2SO moving around the set. There was Alan Tudyk in a jumper. And a onesie.
Sometimes he did the backpack where he had some stilts that had like a face plate for eyeline. Right. And sometimes he was on stilts. One of the interesting things you'll notice, I happen to be about the height of Alan, and my hand is just the same height off the ground as his. So if he's standing, he can manipulate things in front of him, and it's just an extension of his shoulder.
Okay.
So it doesn't look weird when he's holding a bag down here, because that's where his hands are.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, what version of this is you didn't build just one?
No, I call it the Droid of Theseus. So this is version 5, which was built this year. So lots of upgrades for Andor Season 2. Everyone's jazzed about K2.
Oh, so there's are there details in Andor Season 2 that aren't in Rogue One and other appearances of him?
Except for more dialogue, nothing really new. It was more like there's going to be, K2 is going to be popular again.
Right.
We're going to have events that we want to take him to.
Exactly. Totally. Okay.
So that was the big push. Had a lot of checkpoints along the way. So version 5, version 1 was 2017. So the year after Rogue One came out.
Okay. And are there any pieces of, these aren't just 5 different constructions. There are pieces of version 1 in here. Am I right?
There are. We have that diagrammed here in my Droid of Theseus.
This is the first diagram.
Yes.
Oh, I love this so much.
So version 1, the only thing that's left is this kind of, you could tell I was painting on the plasti dip a little worse, but I have to keep something from version 1.
Look at that, look at how your technique just refined and got so tight.
So version 1 took a year, and it was all, so he's mainly a PVC skeleton inside with EVA foam exterior.
Okay, so what was your biggest success with, I know that you now look at version 1 and it probably makes you cringe.
Oh, it does a little.
But what was your biggest success with version 1? What was the thing that brought you and made you want to keep on going?
I think the mirror trick. Everyone
the mirror
really
trick is
likes
amazing.
The mirror trick.
Describe the mirror trick.
So with K-2SO, again, it's a CG character. They can do whatever they want. And his knees and ankles and elbows and wrists are all hollow. So it's kind of like a cylinder rotating within itself. Really cool, really sci-fi.
Looks great.
Really fragile.
Really hard to do from a mechanical engineering standpoint, especially out of plastic.
Exactly. So what all of his joints have are an insert where there's a mirror inside and it's kind of half sunk. So from the right angle, it looks hollow.
It fooled me the instant I looked at it. And then it didn't fool me. And then I walked over and I'm like, oh, that's great. That gives you the look that you want.
Every single Cassian cosplayer that comes by has to check their hair in his elbow. They just naturally do it. But I love that, again, and it's something where people, when they see it, it kind of is like peeling back the illusion. So they kind of feel like let in on the joke.
Oh,
which
nice.
Is really
so
fun.
It brings,
that, and when people see the back, when they see the cameras and all of that, they're like, oh, that's how he does it. Because I'm not hiding. It's hiding in plain sight. But when people see that at conventions, they get excited about it.
Okay, so the mirror trick is your favorite part. What is the part you were the wrongest of wrong about version 1? What was the thing that took the most reiterating to get right to this version?
Hands.
Hands?
They have not worked till version 5.
Oh, wow. So versions 1 through 4 was
it did not. I have a few of them over here, actually.
Okay.
So this was version 2 and 3. So for this one, I tried to do the tendon method. So I have a piece. So I had like a little bar you're trying to pull and you're trying to curl that.
Right.
This was trying to do linkages.
Right, I see the
But again,
linkages.
too much friction, too much inside. So right now it's kind of just glued up to just hold itself.
Right.
And this was like trying to finish on a deadline, so it just was quickly make out of foam.
Sure.
Just iron it out, and then the wrist would rotate here at the wrist portion. So version 1 was even worse. That was, I say worse, but it was PVC pipe with tendons inside.
Oh, okay.
And so
cut at angles with it. Yeah.
It was always too much tension. You were really having to pull to close the hand. So I moved away from the tendon method, and then the linkage method is great. So in this version, you can pull, and we can actually see the inside.
Oh, wait, take that off again for camera. That is nice.
So in version 5, we can see here. So
you scamp.
So pull the first one.
Okay. Oh, I see. They're sprung open.
They're sprung open.
So his natural inclination.
By default, we're closed because most of the time his hands are closed.
Yeah.
And so as I'm walking around, I don't want to be constantly squeezing to keep them in the default. So instead, you reverse it and you pull to extend.
I also want to point out to the audience that this efficiency you have of joining the tendons of the pinky and ring finger.
I only have so many fingers to manipulate.
Also, our bodies do a similar efficiency. There's a little bit of a tendon crossover of your last two fingers. This is beautiful, man.
So we don't have any thumb motion yet, and then we're still working. The fourth one the goal is to do a wrist motion, but we're too heavy. We need to add a spring or something to relieve the tension.
So if I may, one of the key things to think about here is you're doing a pull activation,
right?
But you could build a full loop in which you sprung it, so you're doing push-pull, and that way you're able to use the strength in both directions instead of just having to pull all of your pulling against one direction to have it spring back.
The other upgrade we're going to do, I was inspired by the Alien Romulus video of the face hugger and how they did it with the high tensile fishing line.
Yeah.
So we're going to replace all the bike cables with that so we can make a sharper corner and hide more of that and then not have as much weight. So that'll be a benefit.
I will show you. I have some super high strength tensile line, and I also have some PTFE liner for it. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, because that's the other trick. It has to go through a tube of some sort.
But when it does, the friction is so low. I would have loved this technology when I was doing animatronics 25 years ago.
So let's talk about this. So this was an iteration point. So when I was designing the hand, I didn't know what the grip was going to look like.
And this is how you, this is from the back, this is how you interface with the hand.
That's how you hold it,
Give him,
And you'll notice his entire arm rotates versus just the wrist.
Right.
So it's just a conceit for making it easier.
You know, you could, at some point, add in an advantage so that the wrist turns more than the arm.
Oh, so kind of like compounding the motion.
Yeah, and you could, again, since you're only talking about effectively like maybe 170 degrees,
not even that,
right? That you could get the full range of motion.
So with this piece, the way it's assembled is you put in the finger rings and then you add these tubes from the back, which is the gliding force.
So they provide the bearing surface.
The bearing surface, but you'll see this is a dovetail joint. So this are all the iterations of getting to this type of grip. I just had to reprint that part, didn't have to reprint the whole rest.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you made your iterative
So we start with
process
version 1, it's way too bulky, it's way too thick. It's not going to work. We have a spot for our joystick on the top. Version 2, we get a little bit smaller. I realize I need some sort of set screw to keep it from sliding. Ended up not being needed because the friction is plenty. Version 3, we add
a protective handle.
Less protective, more something else to brace against, to push against, because you're really ratcheting the hand. So it's something to push against. And then version 4, we pivot it a tiny bit more, and it's just a greater feeling in the hand, comfort, and moving the joystick lower so it was where the thumb should be. So I only had to change out this part for each iteration rather than reprint the entire assembly.
That is super cool. I am positive there are some animatronics engineers watching this thinking, man, I would love time on a movie to keep iterating the handholds instead of destroying my arms. Dude, this is really lightweight. This weighs maybe 2 pounds?
He weighs 30 pounds total.
He does?
He does.
That's fabulous.
Because I want him to be a puppet. So again, when I'm starting with a project, you start with the list of what do you want it to do? I want it to walk, talk, move the hands. And so by walking, people are like, oh, you could just print the whole thing. It would be way too heavy to move. And so that's where
that's where the foam comes in.
That's where this is mostly EVA foam.
Right.
And then 3D printed parts as well.
I think the way you've mixed them is really, really nice because these give a huge amount of visual value. Yeah. The crispness of your 3D prints.
And you need different gradients of black. It's not just jet black, like he's dipped in black. And this is a charcoal metallic paint. So in the light, it looks like metal. It looks glorious.
Oh man. Okay, so we've covered the high and the low of iteration 1 to 5. What is give me, I'm sure your list of to-dos is a mile long, but what are the main upgrades you're looking to give him?
So right now,
I'm just making the assumption you're not done.
Well, it's slowing down. Sure. Version 5 really was the chrysalis of it's doing all the things I want to do. Now we're doing things like maintenance ability and comfort. So things that make them easier to puppet and easier to maintain.
Easier on your body.
Easier on the body. So one of the things is there's this torsion spring inside the hip. Right. And so what that is doing is it's applying pressure to lift the leg. So when I lift his leg, it's kind of
you're not having to lift the whole weight of it.
Not the whole weight, a little bit, but not the whole weight. So that's for comfort. I just this last weekend redid all of his pistons. So
let's talk about these pistons.
Yeah, we have them right here.
This is a classic sci-fi thing. The Terminator has this. It's like all the joints in the future will be run by effectively Stewart platforms. Is that correct?
Exactly. Well, we didn't want to actually have the pistons drive anything. They're just for show.
Right.
So this was the original hip assembly. So we have a 6-inch Lazy Susan, and then you have, here is where the pipe would go. And then the reason for the Lazy Susan is as the shoulders and hips move, it gives strain relief. So when it eventually pulls too tight, it releases the strain and doesn't tear itself apart.
And you've got spring loading on the arms
elastic.
Here.
So there's a piece of elastic going through from one end to the other.
And that allows it to look like they're activating. So this is 1.0.
This is 1.0. So the problem is metal. It's a giant metal piece.
Wow, yeah.
So we move now to a 3D printed bearing.
Oh, you did your own bearing race. Oh, I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I've got so many nylon and PTFE balls.
I'm sure they're everywhere on the floor.
Yeah.
So the other thing about this,
that's a nice amount of
just enough, and then it feeds through here, and you put the plug in to keep it from getting out. Just 5 millimeters.
That's your own 3D printed made bearing. I love it.
And then for these, so an individual piece, now we have an extra bit so we can just pop it in, pop it out.
And that is also its elastic.
Yeah, and we went from an elastic band to an elastic cord, so it's a little tighter. It's gonna last a little longer. And then the other benefit is this is the insert that's glued into the leg, and now it has let's see what are the inserts called? Heat press inserts.
Oh, right.
So this is my first time using heat press inserts. So this part is glued in, or mechanically attached, and then the in-between is removable.
I just love this.
Oh, they're lots of fun.
I just want to just point out to the audience, this is, you're at home and you're thinking about making a piston, and I'm sure you, like me, would be like, okay, we want a nice little bit of tolerance in there. And the answer is no, you don't want any tolerance at all. You want this thing to be, you want a most amount of movement, because all you're going to see in the cosplay is that, and it needs to be smooth, right? So I love that you've allowed it so much flexibility.
So the other thing we did is, so this is just PEX pipe. It's 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch PEX pipe. But unfortunately, paint doesn't stick to that kind of plastic.
Yep.
So we did electrical tape and then metal plumber's tape on the inside, so that has a much better look. And then just 3D printed caps and
it's fabulous.
But you can really see the difference when you've thought about it for way longer and experienced it, and then version 2 looks incrementally better.
And actually, I really like the way it looks on the arm, the way it actually moves, and you can see these dynamically moving.
It looks really good.
That's thrilling.
Yeah.
That must have, when you finally, I can only imagine how many times you had 75 parts in front of you, and every execution is a couple of hours, but when you finally get it and it looks like that, you were like, oh, dude.
Yeah, when his shoulder moves and then you see the relief and it turns, it just looks so much better.
No, that is value.
Also, these parts are magnetic, so they're easier to paint. And I can also swap them out. So K2 has yellow And then other KX units sometimes have red. So I have a set of red rings, and we can swap those out if we want to change them up. So you see, like, this is like version 2. We have like foam. So it's, you know, wood burner. It's getting there, but it's not as crisp as that. We also have previous shoulders. So this is version 1. So again, I took EVA foam, stacked it up, took it through a bandsaw with a scallop blade. So a scallop blade's like the meat cutting blade with the little, you know, deadly to everyone, but
terrifying.
But it cuts through foam like butter and leaves no jaggedness. And then version 2, so a little bit better. You know, with 3D printing starting to be added, and then now we have.
And these just pop out. Oh my gosh, they just. Oh, that's amazing.
So all of the joints pop out because, like, to assemble him, I have a bolt here to detach from the knee. So that's how that goes together.
Okay, I'm mostly so now. We haven't even covered this. You wear him effectively.
We haven't even gotten to the back yet.
You wear him. Well, let's move around to the back and talk about the puppeteering. It's almost like a Bunraku puppet. Am I right?
So we have a vest. So this is his harness. So it's just an off-brand Steadicam.
Right. I was going to say it looks like a Steadicam vest.
So I needed something that connected to me really rigidly. And this was my first time using Send Cut Send.
Oh,
so this is a Send Cut Send bracket.
We have, there you go. We have recently been playing with them as well. This is also great that it's a Steadicam vest because this is like, they figured out how to mount this to a body decades ago.
So right now, his battery is actually just inside.
So
he runs off of a Ryobi. All my droids run off of Ryobis because the voltage regulation's in the battery versus the tool, like for other ones.
Okay.
But it also, batteries are expensive and I already own them. So
yeah, fair, totally fair.
So he also has the ability to put it on my back. So if I want, I can move the battery there and connect with the umbilical. If I want to move a little bit more weight away from his torso.
And that's enough, that's a weight, you'll feel that difference.
Yeah, if I'm gonna do him all day.
Right.
But for now, it's just easier to keep it, contained in him. So this is just a plate. And then there's a gap, and then the piece on the back slides in here, and then friction just holds. So let's take a look at that.
Let's take a look at that.
So yeah, there's just as much going on in the back as the front. So this is the other Send Cut Send piece, and it's just bolted into the spine. There's a PVC spine in there. And then when I'm connecting to him.
Oh, so they did the bending for you.
I did the bending, they did all that. So then you just take it here, and it just slides through with a little bit of friction.
Sure.
There we go. It's usually a little faster when I'm wearing it, but
fair.
But it basically slides in, and then his weight is pushing down.
Amazing.
So it's never going to come out.
Right.
And then when you de-dock, you just pull down, and he comes out.
And you found the level of torsion that you're getting off of that is totally acceptable.
Totally acceptable. And then for my feet, these are just dive fins. Everyone loves the dive fins. So I went with, because it's one piece.
Right.
It's not going to separate versus gluing or attaching together.
I only just noticed that this is how you see through him. I love this. I was just telling my wife about the trucks with a screen on the back so you can see what's happening in the traffic. You've made exactly that.
So because when I'm bolted here, I'm bolted to him. So if I lean left, he leans left. I cannot, I can get a little peripheral, but as far as what's right in front of him. So these are for like monitoring your kid in your back seat in your car, where you like put it on your dash and it's just a wire. Because I just need a wire. I don't need a transmission. I don't need a signal. It just needs to go.
I find for cosplay, that's often makes the electronics I want much cheaper because I don't want them Wi-Fi.
You keep it simple.
Yeah.
So so down here we have, this is his Acre audio amp, so I can plug in voice,
talk for him.
Voice it and talk. I went with that direction versus sound cues because there's not as many, and I like having the personality of the conversation.
Sure.
And then actually for when we're cosplaying a lot, we have fans. So these are little squirrel fans.
Blowing on you.
Just a little bit, so I'm not dying of the heat.
That's so sweet.
And the nozzles are needed because when I first turned them on, they blew like immediately into my ears. And I was like, that's not gonna work.
That's hilarious.
So let's look at his inside. This is the fun part.
Oh, wait.
So we have an umbilical that comes here. So here's the two screens. And then these are just pre-wired blinky LEDs. They just blink.
So there's no pattern. They're just
no pattern.
However they were wired.
They do their blinking and they look cool. And I just realized antenna are in a box, but that's okay. They're
right.
here. So
hang on. I'm going to.
we have a lot going on in here.
All right, some voltage regulators.
We got 2 voltage regulators.
A 12-volt system and a 6-volt system.
Yeah, so that's taking the signal, and it can either come from one of 3 places. It can come from the umbilical jack when it's on my back, the battery that's inside, or we can go on house power if we have a power brick, and let's say he's at a convention and you want to plug him into the wall, and you don't want to run the battery all day, he can go to that. So we actually can switch between battery or house if you want to leave the system in place.
Phenomenal.
So that's another reason to buy 6 3-way switches when you're only going to use one. But
that is generally my practice. I like to see all the WAGO connectors, WAGOs.
So yeah, we have little 5-volt and a 10-volt power bus. We go down to our Arduino Uno, and that is taking the signal from the joysticks and doing the calculations for the head motion.
Well, now, let's talk a little bit about the head motion.
Okay.
Can we go back to his front and just see his head?
We can
around?
also lower him a bit if you want to get a little closer.
Oh, sure.
Because his head is very high.
That was cool. That was really cool. Oh my God.
There we go.
K-2SO is dropping a deuce. Sorry about that. I really apologize. I don't know what came over me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so his head is, you've got servos operating his head. Is that right?
So there's 4 servos, and we can just look inside the head, actually.
Oh, dude, I love all the dismantle ability you've got
So
here.
the eye mechanism just runs off of its own nano and just randomly looks around.
Okay.
Eventually that might get tied into something, but for now it just lights up and looks alive. But it also keeps it just power, so it's very simple to connect. And then this was actually developed, I almost want to make him I don't know if I can make him even shorter because he is still very tall. His knees are just going to start getting groany. Actually, I think it's as low as he's going to go. All right, so we have a forward back servo.
Right.
So that's the head tilt. And then we have a yaw that kind of pivots like this. And then the rotation's actually in the base of the neck to turn the entire head. So what's really interesting that the code is doing is when he looks down and to the left, the yaw is actually leveling his head. Because if there was no yaw, when he looks down and left, he's going to crane his neck, and that won't look natural. So that was the tricky part in getting that to
that is a very K2. So you're learning things about K2SO's character just in terms of programming these very simple moves. They don't work unless they feel like they're from the character.
Exactly. And this was actually like a group project. We have a group of K-2SO builders that are working on animatronicing like 3D printed versions. Right. Now mine is different in that I don't want it to run off of an Arduino solely. I want to be able to live control it. And
so the live control is the little joystick that you have on the thumb of the hand.
The thumb of the handle. So the left joystick does the head motion. So it's basically a return to 0 when I let go. If I want to look down and to the right, I go down and to the right.
Amazing.
And then he just returns. And then the other joystick is the head bob. So there's another servo under the base that rocks the entire assembly forward a little bit.
And that actually has the spinning within it.
It's like a little bowl cup.
Right.
And that's where his neck broke that one time, but there was too much give. Actually, let's look at the inside of that. We can do that right now.
It looks like it's wow. The modularity is
you're gonna love this part. So his neck actually is removable. So this I designed because I wanted to be able to take his whole head off for transport. So I designed this kind of 3-pedal system that locks into place.
Bayonet.
So we're actually just moving this that's in line. So it's not doing any work right now.
Right.
So only when it's bobbing does it rotate, and now the spring is helping kind of like balance it, and then it goes back.
And this is also, this allows not too much force to be passed back into the servo train. This is a little bit of strain relief.
Because if there was, there's a little bit of strain relief there, but if it was directly on the rotation point, then it's constantly working to hold it.
Right.
So this is the extra piece. This black part initially wasn't there. So one time I accidentally turned off his power, and this was not fully in line, and his head went. And we broke the neck, and it was bad. So now we've added this.
Natural stop.
So now it naturally will only fall 1 millimeter
Gotcha.
instead of 2 inches.
That's good, buddy. The head looks like it's in a fairly advanced state of construction at this point.
Yeah, it's, again, you're
not
fitting...
to say you're not going to build another 2 or 3.
You're fitting a lot through this really, really narrow...
Just for a second. So this is your fascia that covers the neck.
Yeah, so take out the break so you can put it around his neck, and then it locks in place right there.
That is beautiful. I just love that.
And then, if we want to connect him, so if you could take that piece and just make sure black to black should be pretty.
Black to black. Yeah, there we go. And
there we go. And then we just have magnets to hold it on, and then his eyes will do what eyes do. So with the head on, it'll go a little more because the weight will pull it.
Right.
But you can easily add, hey, K2.
I'm giving him some.
Of course.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, everything's come together in version 5. The hands, the head, the moving, the motion, and he just comes alive. They're just little things. I love this. This is a guy who makes these pre-wired blinking LEDs, but I wanted something random, like feeling random, because once you see a sequence of a pattern, you're like, oh, it's just blinking 3, and then
switches you can choose.
It's a little different. It's actually designed for like model train dioramas for clouds. So you would put it in cotton, and it's a lightning routine, and so it just randomly goes between these 2 LEDs, but it feels more like he's just chittering.
I have a suggestion about the eye movement, because for K-2SO, to me, those eyes moving inside the eye sockets is always really evocative. And one thing, I've been doing some animatronics recently, you might try a mode where the eyes are chained to the neck movement side to side.
That is in the thought,
they move first.
They lead.
Yeah, so when you move the neck, the eyes move first, and then
kind
of
Terminator,
follows.
where he looks and then turns.
We're naturally do that, right? And then there's also blinks in there, but
then I don't have to have another joystick just for the eyes.
Oh
they're
I know.
Slaved together, which works great.
Well, actually, right. It could be that it's a program to just respond to the inputs to the neck and then gets its.
Yeah, so you move 10 degrees and the eyes move, and you move 20 degrees and the head moves.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that idea.
He is so pretty. I want to ask about the aesthetics, because with Star Wars characters, sometimes getting it right can be deceptively difficult. I love mentioning to the audience that, like, you get Chewbacca even remotely wrong, and he's Chewbacca's
He's
cousin.
all brown with no highlight colors.
No one cares about Chewbacca.
It doesn't work.
So I'm curious, what are the hard aesthetic beats to hit on K-2SO that make him look right or wrong if you don't get them?
The trickiest part is probably the fact that he is clean. He is Imperial, so he is like if you look at pictures of version 1, I did little nicks with like a little silver Sharpie, and then I did one section, and then I'm like, well, now I have to do that level of nicks all over, and it just looked like he went through a wood chipper. It was way too much. It wasn't subtle at all. So you think about, we all joke like, oh, a little bit of dirt, it's just weathering. Well, you need minimal of that on K2. He needs to look like he's factory fresh. As he says in the show, he was on Coruscant in the parade with Palpatine. Like, he needs to look really, shiny and metallic. Yeah. But he's also intimidating. Right. Like, people get out of his way. When I'm walking around the convention floor, like, he just walks up and they part the seas.
I'm curious about whether it took several iterations to get the line of the chest to work correctly.
Yeah, compound curves are not fun. Actually, the most challenging was the upper leg, to try to do it in one piece. So what I ended up doing is, when I was working on the scale of it, way back, like version 0, I was almost considering a suit, because we didn't know how big he was. We didn't know the size. But there's way too many concessions. People have done suits, but it's not the direction I wanted to go. So for this, they had a lot of toys, and they had the Jax Big Fig. It's a 31-inch tall K-2SO. So I literally took the leg off, did the foil wrap method, templated it out, scaled it up, and that became his leg. Because how are you going to get the compound curve?
Walk me through that again, beat by beat. You took the toy. So that was the biggest toy you could get.
Biggest one I could get. Figured out the ratio scale.
Right, exact
And actually,
scaling.
that's what's feeding all these numbers. So that's
so the toy gave you the correct measurements of everything.
Close enough, you know, to what I could tell. So this was like, oh, this is going to be this big, and then there's so many measurement points all over him. So you took a
piece of foil and wrapped it around the critical part of the leg.
So this is a cosplay trick you could use for almost templating anything. First, you put down cling wrap, and then I guess you could do foil. I do cling wrap and duct tape.
Great. Okay, great.
So cling wrap, it keeps it from sticking, and then duct tape makes a form-fitting pattern, and then you cut it off and continue to cut away until it becomes flat, and that lets you translate it into flat foam, cut it in flat foam, and then you can return it to its 3D shape.
It's got I know this process, and I think I've done it in the past, but I imagine that the first time you do it and you take that piece of weird looking foam and wrap it around the big thing and it works, you're like, wow. Was that must have been...
especially again with it being such this weird curve.
Yeah, no, I can
And it's
imagine.
a major part of his silhouette. You know, like characters, if his shoulders was too big or the torso was 10% too bulky, you would feel it. It wouldn't look right. And that's always a trick.
You know, it's so funny because like different Star Wars movies land with different groups of people, and I totally appreciate that. But I don't think they've messed up a droid in the whole, like every droid is a banger. Every character
really
they put into metal.
You were talking about his torso. I love how this looks like a snowtrooper chest. Like it feels imperial. It feels, I mean, I don't want the job of make a new droid that looks like it fits in a galaxy far, far away, because I think that's really challenging.
I agree.
But when they, like you said, when they nail it, it looks like, and we've had, it's been great with K2 because they've been retconning him into Star Wars more and more.
Right.
He was in the Jedi Fallen Order video game. He's in Andor. Like, we've never seen him before Rogue One, but they're like, no, this has been an Imperial standard issue for decades. You just never saw him.
Right. Now this isn't your only Star Wars exploration. You've also got a couple of other projects you've been burning away on for the last few months.
I do have a few, but first I want to see if you can guess where the cameras are.
I have spotted one of the cameras was here.
That's actually a GoPro.
Oh, amazing. Oh, so that's just recording your experience.
So, yeah, because sometimes if I don't have someone taking pictures.
If that's not one of the cameras that you're looking through. Oh, well, there's one.
Yeah, there's one. That's his belly cam.
Is it in there?
It's inside.
Beautiful.
So a mesh inside his mouth. So
so then you know on one of the screens when you're making eye contact.
And so if someone's taking a picture of him, he's looking at the camera, which again makes him more alive.
Which must make everyone laugh when they're about to take a picture and he turns and looks right at the camera.
I usually tell my handler, like, give him like 3 seconds to acquire you, because it's like, I'm like fine tuning and it's like, nope, a little to the left. Nope, it's a little to the right. But it makes, again, that's the phase he's in now. How do I make him come more alive, you know, be easier to puppet and move, and
that's really
and I can wear him for about an hour or two.
An hour or two?
Yeah, an hour or two.
The difference between 1 and 2 hours is huge.
Well, the nice thing about his stand is I can have my handler carry that, and if we get far from home base, I can detach and decouple if I really need to.
I was thinking about a similar Bunraku kind of execution for a character I was thinking about. And it turns out my friend Michael Lynch actually wore C-3PO for the prequel, right? For the episode 1.
Not the parts one, but the other one.
Yes, right. Not Chewbacca's backpack. Yeah, so that weighed over 100 pounds, that model that they made. And I asked Michael, like, what was your secret for puppeting that? He's like, I had to make the knees lock so that I could actually rest.
His knees lock. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So there's a piece inside there. So when I'm standing fully erect, I can tug them slightly back from straight.
And then you can get
I can take a little bit of rest. And it's also nice because I can have a chat with someone. I can just chill, and people come up, take a picture, move. I wouldn't even know they were there, and they're still getting the experience like he's on pause.
Dude, that's amazing. He's so pretty. We're gonna have you put him on. All right.
So you just get the heel.
Yep, got the heel.
And then just pull up on the tongue.
Oh, right.
Just a little.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that comfortable?
That's perfect.
Is that reasonably tight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then.
Excellent. Okay. You can put your hand on my head if you want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to clip into him first because I feel like I'm too far back and I don't want to tip back.
Fair.
Usually I do both legs. Okay. I'm good. I got the bench.
All right. Okay. You're good. All right. Now I'm going to pull the tongue. I'm going to tighten the top one. bottom one. Do those tensions feel good?
All right, he's loose. I have him.
Okay, so I'm going to undo this one down here.
Yeah. And just kind of
you are free.
And then we just kind of skewer this
out of here. All right.
You might have to do that one, yeah. That's why the other ones I replaced with bolts versus screws, because people kept doing the wrong one.
I don't.
You might have to.
Loosening doesn't.
Yeah,
loosen.
it's a little.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a little tight.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. There we are.
What? Oh my God. Oh, dude. Wow.
He loves fist bumps.
Fist
la 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 la.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. It's when his head turns towards me. It's not cool.
It's like, hey.
Wow.
And then even when he's walking, you give him a little bit of swagger and.
That was great. I want you to do that again. Back up.
Of course, yeah.
We got to watch that.
Yeah, he's, like I said, he's very intimidating.
Cosplayers practice the walk. They practice the move, the gesture. Fist bump.
This one's easier.
There we go.
La, 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 la. Yeah, because this one I'm puppeting his head with, so I usually do it for as a secondary head.
Wow. Oh, man.
And then again, just from back here, I can see, where he's looking. I can see my hands in the lower one.
Oh, the hands view is incredible.
So I can, make that fist bump and not, he's also good at smacking Cassian cosplayers across the face. They always like that. So. Here's a machine tool. Machines making machines.
What is your name?
How droll. There we go. Grab that. Let's see. What is this? Look down. Look down even more. Let's see. And we'll look at your filing system right here.
I feel like I'm being searched.
This is one decimal off.
Great. Why do you have one of those?
So
dude, he is so pretty.
Yeah, he's gonna put his hand on.
I really, dude, it is so nice to meet you, K-2SO. I love all the magnets that expose your inner bits.
Well, his only way of fighting stormtroopers is picking them up and throwing them.
He's just hurling them like rag dolls. Amazing. Amazing. We're going to include links to all of your various things in the description so people can know where to find you and where they might be able to meet him in person. Do you announce when he's going to come to a con?
Yeah, I'll usually post either on my website or on Instagram. So
it is a thing to see this in person. I can't even imagine how much fun it must have been to be at the red carpet for Andor.
No, that was super great. He got to participate in that Coca-Cola commercial, which was amazing. They asked for him. They wanted him.
Wow.
So that was really cool.
I can't believe you stuck it out till the end. Well, now that you're here, let's talk about some of the cool stuff we have at adamsavage.com, our merch site. We make stuff for makers, and one of the most important tools a maker possesses is, of course, their laptop. That's why this year we are making 2 laptop sleeves, a large and a small, to protect your precious cargo. Like all of our products, they're made of upcycled materials, manufactured in the United States. And on each of these models, we have included a new feature, which is like my new favorite thing in the world, is this pencil holder with a rubber stamp of my name here. This is inspired by the NASA astronauts' name labels on the Apollo astronauts. And there's one on both sizes. Get yours today at adamsavage.com.